Hi everyone, Schwartzberg here. We're learning the Sefer Shomer Emunim, Derush HaBitachon, Perek. As you can see, the background looks a bit different. The last video was recorded in Beit Shemesh. I recently moved to the Shomron. You can see the beautiful mountains. I think, in fact, you can even see Bracha from a distance. In Perek Dalet, we learned how Emunah, Bitachon, and Tmimus are connected. Not only connected, but very much needed in order to have a shleimus in Bitachon. We also learned that just like the mitzvah of Emunah has many levels, so too the midah Bitachon has many levels, and regardless of what level a person is on, he's shaykh, he can grab on to Bitachon. Let's start Perek. V'hine yesh kusha Geulah. T'chsib b'Mitzrayim kash nigla le'em Moshe raya mehemna. When the Yidden were in Mitzrayim, so Moshe, who was called the Raya Mehemna, the faithful shepherd, because he wasn't just leading sheep, he was also a spiritual guide. He brought the Besura Shal Pokoit Pakati Eschem, that I have taken note of you, Ves Osri Lechem b'Mitzrayim, and what is being done to you in Mitzrayim. Ksiv Vayamin Ha'am, that the Yidden, the people, were convinced. So you see, they had Emunah when they were in Mitzrayim. Later on, by Kriyas Yam, they believed in Hashem. So you see, there was a midah of Emunah in by the Yam Suf. And then when it comes to Matan Torah, the Zohar Kodesh writes, that Matan Torah was the beginning of their receiving of Emunah. And this is the lashon of the Zohar, to Shiri Mereish Amana. He quotes from the Sefer Shomer Emunim, to Shiri, journey down Mereish from the peak of Amana. That was the name of the mountain. But says the Zohar, let's translate to Shiri like it's Kamad Da'at Amar, like it says in Sefer Shmuel, Ushura Ein Lahavi, that when Shalom Melech was traveling towards Shmuel, he was telling his nar that we have no presents. With Shura, no presents in the hub. We don't have any presents to give to Shmuel. To Kabli Takrufto, may you receive a gift, Al Banayach, on account of your sons. Meroy Shamana, what does it mean? Meroy Shamana, Merishisa the Alu, from the source that entered the Memenusa Ilah, in believing Ilah, believing in Hashem. When we see afterwards, Hashem Nasav Nishma. Adkan. So again, you have Moshe Rabbeinu, who is the Raya Mehemna. He gives over this Emunah to Klal Yisrael. It flowed through the Matana of the Rosh Hashanah, which was given to them at Matan Torah, and then it expressed itself when the Yidden replied, Nasav Nishma. We turn the page, Mkain. Mashma, koidim kishahayu adayim b'Mitzrayim. When they were still in Mitzrayim, b'shibud hagadol, when they were enslaved, his sigu take of Emunah, they already had Emunah. Kishanigla aleim Moshe Rabbeinu bo'isa rishon sher lahem, when Moshe Rabbeinu revealed his first sign to them. V'achakach mashma, but then later on, it seems shirak bayam hisig Emunah. But then when it comes to Kriyas Yam Suf, it seems that only then they reached Emunah. Zohar Kodesh mashma. Then when you read the Zohar Kodesh, it seems Shirak Matan Torah Siga Reishis Emunah. Did they receive the Reishis Emunah, the beginning of Emunah? That's his question. When exactly did Klal Yisrael first receive Emunah? V'da achi ki yesh be'inyan Emunah bechina Yediah, Hargasha, Hakara. So he says that in Emunah there are three levels. There's Yediah, there's Hargasha, there's Hakara. And he explains each one. Yediah hu sha'adam Yediah mekubal etzlei Emunah meyushas habeisena hagdoshim. Knowing means that you received this Emunah through Yerusha from your father. Befrat Avram Rosh Maminim, especially from Avram Avinu, who is the Rosh of Maminim, that it's written about here in Chumash Bereshis, that Hashem said, Ki Yedativ, that I have singled Avram, I have singled him out, Laman Asher Yitzaves Bonam, that he may instruct his children, Ves Beiso, in his house, Achrav, after him. Because Baruch Hu Ishpia by Godel HaYediah, because Hashem was mashpia this Geulah Yediah onto Avram Avinu, Laman Yamchel Zeh HaYediah Klolas Beiso Zeh Achrav, so that it could be inherited for all generations. So that's Yediah. It's something which we inherit from our fathers. And then there is a second level of a bechina of Hargasha, which is a level up. Shemargish metika zichri yisbarach shmoi, that he can feel the sweetness of Hashem. K'moish Amar HaKasev, like it's written in Tehillim, Ta'amuru, taste and see, Kitayv Hashem, that Hashem is good. Asher noisin Hashem believe Dorshov, Umavakshav Lepamim, that Hashem places in the heart of those that seek Him sometimes. V'gam Hamoin and also to the Hamoin of Klal Yisrael, B'Shabbos, over Yom Tiv, Nigrish Eslam K'tzas, they will feel a little bit of Simcha Yisera, extra happiness, the chiyus elikus, and the aliveness of Hashem inside of them. That is Hargasha. V'yesh Emunah b'chinas Hakara, and then there is another level of Emunah called Hakara, that is a level up from Hargasha, and that is She'odam Makir v'sichla Yediah Hashem, that a person knows with his seichel, he knows Hashem, Shu al Yedei limudai b'sfarim, either through learning svarim, v'izbainu v'hasagas alikus, or thinking into Hashem, ubefrat b'nefloi shoyseim amo Yisrael v'ita befrat, and especially by looking at the wonders that Hashem does to Am Yisrael. So those are the three levels. And continues the Shomer Emunim, v'kocha yesh b'chlalos ha'olam, and so too in general to the world. Sheyesh tzadikim gedolim, sheyesh lehem hakar gedolah b'elikus, that there are tzaddikim that have a great Hakara of Hashem, al yedei or hashchina shemeir behem, through the light of the Shechina that Hashem lights onto them. Ubahasagas oiris al yoinim b'histabchusam b'Hashem, and through this great light that they attach themselves to Hashem. V'heima nikram b'chayvus havavis, as the chayvus havavis calls them hakarase chazaka, they have a strong Hakara. V'yesh ein lehem ze Hakara, and then there are people that don't have this Hakara. Aval yesh lehem Hargasha gedolah b'Hashem, but they have a hergish, a strong hergish in Hashem. V'eish chiyus, a fiery, chiyus, a likus. I'm not even sure how to exactly translate it. Boyer bekirma, it's burning inside of them. V'yesh haktane erech shehema ruba da'amo, and then there are smaller. There's a smaller level, which is most of the world, most of the people. She'emunah lehem mekabala, that their emunah is what they received. Shu emunah pshuta bli tam klal, that it's a simple faith without any taste, any flavor. Shuhu kiyosed baltimait olam voed, like a peg that will not fall in, will not be shaken forever. It's just it's emunah which they received from their fathers. It keeps on going through generations. Kemaimer hamedrash shekasav sham shi emunah shishol neichlam boy. It's emunah which Yisrael inherits. V'chein yesh b'cholas hadoyres, and so too we can generalize regarding the generations. Sheyesh doyres k'may etzel matan Torah seinu hakdoisha. There are generations like it was in the times of the Matan Torah. Shekiru kol beis Yisrael gedulas yisbarach shmoi, that all of Klal Yisrael recognized Hashem. Sheniftach lehem kol tarin, Hashem opened up all the gates, their key of the Shemayim. Veher lehem aboy baruch hu, that Hashem showed them shu echad yacham yuchad, that He is the only God in the world. The chsiv, like it's written Chumash Devarim, ata reisel adas, you have been shown to know ki Hashem hu lekim, that Hashem alone is God. Ein oid mavadai, there is no one else. V'achakach, and afterwards hishtamshu Klal Yisrael ba'akara. After this level of Matan Torah, you go down further on in the generations, you'll find that Hishtamshu Klal Yisrael ba'akara aydei nevi hadoyres sort of went down a level, and now they had Hakara only through the Nevi'im of the generations, ba'oisais of moisim geluyim, with signs and open wonders. V'achakach, and later generations, yardu the bechinas ruach hakodesh, they went down to a level of ruach hakodesh. Hapoches min, which is less than nevuah from the Nevi'im. V'achakach, and later generations, yordu the bechinas baskol, they went down to a level of baskol. They would hear a heavenly voice. Kemuva b'divrei Chazal in the Gemara Saita. V'achakach nitel gam zeh bechina, and even this level was taken away from them. V'nisho elam bechinas Hargasha, and they were left with this bechina of Hargasha, being able to feel Hashem. Through the influence of the leaders, great leaders of the tzaddikim and kedoshim of that generation, that were in every generation. And this hergish would spread from these leaders to all of Klal Yisrael. Until most of the Klal Yisrael would be able to feel noyam, the pleasantness, ziv, hadrus kodesh. They were able to feel the splendor of Hashem. And they were those that would seek out Hashem, and they would give up their life for Hashem. The rest of the Amma Kodesh of Klal Yisrael, even if they didn't have Hargasha, but they were very strong in their Emunah mekoyach Yediah. They were pure in heart. Shomrim was here, and they would watch the mitzvahs. The Sefer Kadosh Or HaMeir, like the Sefer Or HaMeir talks very strongly. The Or HaMeir was Reb Zev Wolf Nezitimor. He was a Talmud from the Maggid Mezrich, was a Talmud from the Baal Shem Tov. He lived in the mid-1700s in Ukraine. That the Or HaMeir writes, when he was a child, how the fear would spread throughout the world, especially when the Rosh Chodesh Elul would set in, you would be able to feel the fear of Ayin Sham. Later generations, this also was removed from the world. Hashem through His mercy sent a great light through the Baal Shem Tov and his Chevraya Kadisha. Baal Shem Tov was Rabbi Yisrael ben Eliezer. He lived in the early 1700s in Ukraine. And so too the Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov were holy. And Hashem gave permission for them to use open wonders, because Hashem saw in His mercy generations that are to come, because they were weak, they needed a boost, so that they can use once again this koyach Hakara. Until, because of our many Averis, our generation, we were moved from all this. And this koyach, this great koyach that tzaddikim had of being able to show great moivsim, was taken away. And even this koyach and ruach that the bukim had for generations also was removed from us. Because all previous generations, you would hear many stories about these ruchos and dibukim that would go into people's bodies, and they were sent away through the koyach of the tzaddikim of the generations. So even though it's a bad thing, but he's trying to make a point that even that we don't have, because it was removed from us. Like the pasuk in Eicha says, "Vateirit palam," and she was sunk appallingly, ve'ein menachem la, with no one to comfort her. Hemitzai ruchni, hemitzai gashmi, we fall into a low level. V'hishtatvos achshal v'basoiv godol tzaris hazman, especially if you put together all the tzaris that we have. Nital koyach hakara, it was removed from us, Hakara, v'kamat legamre gam koyach Hargasha, and pretty much all of Hargasha was taken away from us. V'yiradnu la'afar, and we have fallen to dirt, to lo madrega. But says the Shomer Emunim, umisham asidin anach legal. But from there starts the Geulah. Kamuva b'gemara, the Gemara Rosh Hashanah tells us, Eitzel inyan shel galus hashchina, the Rebelezer Eimer sheish galus shenemar. It says in Yeshaya, Ki heishach yoishvei marim, for Hashem has brought low those who have dwelt high. Kirya niskava, the secure city, yashpilena yashpila ad eretz, has humbled to the ground. Yagiena leveled it ad offer until the dirt. Amr Yochanan umishom asidin they go from there. We will be redeemed. Shenemar, like it says in Yeshaya, Hisnari arise and they offer kumi, shake off the dust. Shvi Yerushalayim, sit, meaning Hashem should sit in his kisei hakavod, in his throne in Yerushalayim. Ubebrachas negmar brachas ksiv. It's written in the pasuk in Amos. Naflo, fallen loisaisiv kum, not to rise again. B'sulas Yisrael is b'sulas Yisrael. That's the literal translation of the pasuk in Amos. But the Gemara teaches the pasuk b'ma'arava metarti lahachi. In Ma'arava they explain this pasuk naflo loisaisiv. You've fallen, you won't fall anymore. Lin Pa'il, you won't fall anymore. Kum b'sulas Yisrael, and then it's time to get up. Because when it's not possible anymore to fall anymore, like it's brought down in the Sefer Rosa Me'emana, which is a Sefer writing Kabbalistic secrets on the Aleph base. His name was Rabbi Yitzchak Isaac HaLevi Mizarevich. It was known that the Baal Shem Tov learned Kabbalah with him. When a person is at the level of ground level, you can't go any further down. Rak bechinas hanacha. Then it's only placing down. You can't fall down, you can place it down. This is what it means, nafla l'saisif. It's not possible to fall anymore. Oz takev kum b'sulas Yisrael. Then b'sulas Yisrael will get up. The mehir of imenu speedily in our days. But now we go back to what we were discussing earlier. And this is the lashon of the Arizal. Vayar Yisrael es Yediah Geulah. It says in Chumash Shemois that Klal Yisrael saw the great hand of Hashem. Torah was given to cleanse Klal Yisrael. Now we can understand why on one hand the pasuk says Vayar Yisrael, and then later on the pasuk it calls them Is it Yisrael? Is it Choose one terminology. Yisrael kavar nisrafu b'Mitzrayim Yediah Torah shayikarim sheva Levi. That there was a part of Klal Yisrael that was cleansed in Mitzrayim through the Torah that Sheva Levi read to them. Sheva Levi was the ikar and shorish of all the people, of all the shvatim. By reading the Torah, they fixed the people, they cleansed them. The sparks that were enslaved in Mitzrayim, that were not cleansed yet in Mitzrayim, these same sparks left. And then they were cleansed through the Torah that was given by Matan Torah. But those that were already fixed, cleansed, already in Mitzrayim, on these people, the pasuk is made on them, and they believed. And on this part of Klal Yisrael, it's referring to Vayar Yisrael that Klal Yisrael saw. The terminology Vayar Yisrael. But the rest of Klal Yisrael that was not yet fixed in Mitzrayim, I guess they didn't come to share, they didn't learn Torah in Mitzrayim, they were called Aleim Nemar, and on them it said, Vayiru Ames Hashem, they feared, the people feared Hashem, not that they believed, but they feared Hashem. Akan l'shoinei HaKadosh Maravzal. Bimkein, lefi devar v'haktoshim nira, based on Arizal, shegam eitzel hayam, so when it came to Kriyas Yamsov, hamoin lo yesigu bechina Emunah rak bechina yira. Most of the people did not yet get Emunah. They were still in the bechina of fearing Hashem. Vayrak Yisrael hamsukanim hasigu bechina Emunah. Only Klal Yisrael that were already fixed, they reached the bechina of Emunah. I guess a high level of Emunah. Imkein lama kosav b'Mitzrayim v'yameina So why does it say Mitzrayim v'yameina if it sort of only came in Kriyas Yamsov? So that is the simple people, that they were on their small level of Emunah. That level of Emunah was what they inherited from their father. V'anoshim balei avoda she'avdes Hashem gam ki Mitzrayim. But those who are, they call them balei avoda, meaning they learned Torah from Shevet Levi and they were already on a high level of Emunah. Hisigu eitzal yam Emunah b'brura. Then when it came to Kiryas Yamsuf, they got even a clear Emunah. The Yesser HaMakodesh hisigu zeis eitzal matan Torah. But the rest of the people, they only came to that level when they came to Matan Torah. The Chsiv Sham, like it's written over there, and all of the saw the koilos. And the Balei Avoda, those that already cleansed in Mitzrayim, and they already were on a certain level of Emunah, already in Mitzrayim, when it came to Matan Torah, they were ready. They were put up on even a higher. They were lifted up even to a high level of Emunah. Kol chala from darga delay, each to their own level. Kei nearly b'derech emshal etaris hamikrais. This is what it seems to me to answer up these psukim. V'nir be'ezen Hashem shukorv lamitos shel devarim, and it seems to me to be the truth. V'hinei b'chinas bitachon yish gam kein shleisha b'chinas. So now we're talking about Emunah, right? The levels in Emunah. He says in bechina bitachon there's also 3 bechinas. HaBitachon Rishaynahu Kishu Kvar Omad Bahar B'Nisyonis. It's a person that went through many tests, challenges. Ubehemshech Hazman Uberov Havoido Nis Amis Eslei B'Chezik Tekef Midas HaBitachon Bal Yimboid Olam Void. And it's so strengthened by him to a certain point that the peg doesn't fall out. He has this Midah Bitachon, he's holding on to it strong. V'zad Nikra B'Toya Mailis B'Teach. He is called Boiteach, the Chsiv, like it's written in Tehillim. Ashrei Adam, Boiteach Bach. Praised, happy is the person who trusts in you. And like it says in Sefer Mishlei, Boiteach B'Hashem Asherov. Praised, happy is the one who trusts in Hashem. Yesh Madrega Pchusa Mizeh, and there's a lower level of Bitachon. Shu Gam Ki Mechazik Liba B'Bitchonai, that he's also being mechazik his heart in trusting in Bitachon. Rak einoi k'moi rishon, but not like the level we spoke about before. V'zeh nikra, and this level is called choisei b'yisbarach. Like it says in the pasuk in Tehillim, Ashrei kol choisei b'y, happy are all who take shelter in him. Choisei, shelter, refuge in Hashem. Shekasu asvarim, shachisoyon hu pchuso madregim Bitachon, that chisoyon is a little bit of a lower level than the level of Boiteach, the level of Bitachon. V'yesh bechinas miyachil, and then there's a bechina, is a level of miyachil, like it says in the pasuk in Tehillim, shehu chizku v'yameiz levavcha, be strong and of good courage, kol hamiyachlim Hashem, all you who wait for Hashem. She'elu hamiyachlim, these that are called miyachlim, they're waiting for Hashem. They need more of a toikev and oimitz and gadol, more of a courage. Like it's written about them, to be strong and like encouraging these people to be strong and to have good courage. They need more chayzik. They're not holding the level of chaysei, and definitely not on the level of beiteach. This top level that we spoke about before, bechina of Bitachon, who bechinas Abba Chochma Ilah. It is the bechina of Abba, Father, Chochma Ilah, a higher level of Chochma. Sheni hu Midas Teferes. The second level that we spoke about, I guess the Chaysei, that is the Midah of Teferes. Bechina Shlishis, and the third bechina that we spoke about, which was Hamiyachalim, who Moiral Shem Aleph Chov Dalates Mem, Shu Bechinas Hakatnus, which is the lower level bechina of someone with a smaller level of Bitachon, which we spoke about in the previous Perek. Ubeiteich Hashem B'lishum Tam Klal, it's someone that trusts in Hashem without any flavor, any taste of Hashem. Shalazeh Bitachon Efshel Kol Echel Leha Oches. Such a level of Bitachon, anybody is possible to grab onto. Afilu Rasha B'teich B'Hashem Chesed Yisavenu, like we know that even a Rasha that trusts in Hashem, Chesed will surround him, and what kind of level is he holding on to if not this low level of the Aleph Chav Dalet Tes Mem, of someone that trusts in Hashem but without Tam. Rak L'kol Shleisha B'china Sarach Emunah. But again, any of these three levels of Bitachon, of course, needs Emunah. Kibilti Emunah ene shava klum. Because if you don't believe Hashem is capable of giving to you, then what are you trusting, right? The first Maila is the bechina of Hakara. And the second level of Emunah that we discussed was Hargasha. That he remembers Hashem, or he awakens inside himself and he strengthens his heart in Hashem. And the third level of Emunah was what you inherited from your father without any tam. But again, regardless of which bechina of Bitachon, you have to come along with Emunah. And he just reviewed now very quickly the three levels of Emunah, which was Hakara, Hargasha, and Yediah. And this is possible what it means in the pasuk in Tehillim. It says, "Betach b'Hashem asei toiv." Trust in Hashem and do good. Shetachlis shel bitachon lahapich kol hatzirufim roim lasis mehem bechinas hatoiv. That the purpose of bitachon is to turn around all the tzirufim, all the combinations, all the bad combinations, and to turn it into bechina of good. My Chavrusa told me, for example, if you take the word nega, the letters nega, nun, gimel, ayin, you can turn around the letters and turn it into einik. There are certain tzirufim which we can turn around with our bitachon. Kashi yavor lahalom, like we'll explain later on, Perek Zayin, Be'ez Hashem, and this is the great maila that we discussed, the bechina of Hakara. Aval, the pasuk continues. Again, we spoke about till now in the pasuk in Tehillim, B'tach b'Hashem asei toiv. Now the pasuk in Tehillim continues, Shchon eretz, literally means live in the land. But he translates it here. He learns it up. When you're on the low level of Eretz, Tachlis Ha'artziut, Oz, then the pasuk continues until him there, Urei Emunah, which literally means remain loyal, but he's teaching it to mean, he's learning it to mean, Urei, Lashon his chabrus. It's a Lashon of attachment. K'moy shemuva b'Sefer Emunah Bitachon Ramban Zal, v'oz tidbak b'Emunah pshuta daika, then you will attach yourself to this simple level of Emunah. And afterwards, the pasuk in Tehillim continues, Hashem, which literally means seek the favor of Hashem, but he learns it up, Shu bechina hashniya, bechinas Hargasha salakus, that is the bechina of Hargash, that you feel Hashem. Then the pasuk continues, V'yitin lecha mish'alo yisibecha, then Hashem will give you everything you ask for. Kemuva b'sefer chasidim, that b'shah sha'adam margish noyam ziv avodas Hashem, when a person feels the pleasantness, the rays of Hashem, oz simin shanefesh teshasa lebayroi, then it's a simin that your nefesh is wanted by Hashem. When you feel the noyam and the niv and the ziv from working, when doing the avodas Hashem. Then you can ask for whatever your heart desires, because then it's an Eis Ratzon for you. And afterwards, the pasuk in Tehillim continues, Amar, Geulah al Hashem, darkecha, leave your way to Hashem, u'betach and trust in Him, for and He will do it. And this is my advice that I give to you. Geulah al Hashem, darkecha, leave your way. Get rid of all your strategies, all your chachmas, all your how you think you're going to live and how you're going to make money and how you're going to do this and this. Throw it all onto Hashem, because you know nothing. Like it says in Sefer Tehillim that contented kagomol, like a weaned child, alei imoy, with its mother, belishum chachmas v'tachbulais, without any chachmas and tachbulais. V'zeh bechina moyel l'chamina madregas, and this will help for all levels. Bein the bechina hakara, oy hargasha, Oy Bitachon bechina Emunah pshuta, whatever level you're on, levatal atzmiusa lahashal kol Hashem, to nullify yourself, what you think in your head, and throw it all onto Hashem. Oz then betachalav v'hu yaseh, then trust in Hashem and He will do. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yaseh hakol b'shvilcha v'lo tidak klum. Then Hashem will do what your heart desires, and you have no need to worry.